Hello everyone. So in my previous video, you have already gone through OData fundamentals. Now that we understand the difference between OData and REST, let's see how they are together inside Dataverse, how they work together. You understand what is REST and you understand what is OData, but how both works inside Dataverse. The diagram you can see here is like it shows the complete journey of a request from an application that wants to get some data from Dataverse. For example, let's say we need a list of active contacts. So to get that data, the application sends a HTTP request, and that HTTP request is processed by the OData or REST protocol, REST API endpoint. The request is sent to the Dataverse WebAPI endpoint because Dataverse has its own WebAPI endpoint, right? And that WebAPI endpoint receive the request from the client. Okay, and you can see the HTTP URLs in the diagram. You see, so in this point two, you can see there is a request API endpoint, which is nothing but Dataverse WebAPI endpoint. So Dataverse exposes a REST-based web API because it follows REST principles and uses the standard HTTP methods such as get, post, fetch, or delete, right? All these are verbs that you can perform using web APIs. So in our example, since we are reading data, we will use get request at this point. REST provides the communication mechanism as we already seen in the first video. What is REST? It is providing a communication channel or mechanism. Think of REST as a courier service that carries our request to Dataverse. The destination is Dataverse. And once the data is received in the web API endpoint, OData query processing. Now, this is the interesting part where the API is called through REST protocol and the web API endpoint is hit. Now, suppose Dataverse contains thousands of contacts. Do you really want all of them? No, right? Now, maybe not or may not be, right? Probably not. You don't want all the contacts. Maybe we want contacts which are with a specific time zone or a specific country, right? So we may only want active contacts. So we need some filters, and maybe we only need the full name and email columns, right? We don't need all columns of all contacts. So there is a mechanism. So this is where OData becomes powerful. OData actually allows us to save the data before Dataverse returns it, right? So we can use queries like select, filter, expand, okay, order by, okay. All of these are parameters you can use with respect to your web API call or with OData URL. Let's understand them. Select, what select is doing. In the here you can see in the 3 point. Point number 3, we have filter, select, expand, right? So what select represents? If you want to restrict specific columns of each record, then you use select and define what columns you need. In select filter select verb and use the comma separated columns. Filter we actually use to which record you want to filter. I mean, what is the condition against which you want to retrieve data, whether the status is active or the country is India, like that. So it requires a filter condition. Expand, it retrieves related record. Let's say I want the related accounts of all contacts, then where you use expand. Order by to sort the results, right? So instead of bringing unnecessary data over the network, because when you get the data from the server, every data, then it will be, the performance will be degraded. So you need to filter always, right? Most of the times. So instead of bringing unnecessary data over the network, we retrieve only that what we need, right? That is what OData query is all about. Now this improves performance and reduces bandwidth usage, right? Now once you have filtered, the next step is Dataverse data retrieval, right? So after processing the OData query, Dataverse actually access the underlying tables that you have applied for. So it applies all the conditions we specified. For example, only active contacts, only full name and email for each record, sort by full names, right? These are the examples. So Dataverse executes the request securely with its authentication, and security roles, permissions, authentication are also all respected automatically, right? So this means user only see data they are authorized to access. Okay, everyone cannot access Dataverse tables or data. The fifth number step is JSON response. Dataverse actually respond as a JSON object. Finally, what happens? Dataverse sends the response back to the application, and the response return to the JSON format. Okay, so JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So it is a lightweight and widely used data exchange format. It is not a language. It is a data exchange format. Okay. So you understand how the client sends data, sends a request to the Dataverse through REST API endpoint and use filters, Odata filters, and get response, right? So this way, using JSON, applications can easily read and process JSON data regardless of the programming language being used. It doesn't matter which programming language you are using. Using JSON, multiple parties can interact with or exchange data easily. So whether you are using JavaScript, C#, Python, Java, Power Automate, JSON is easy to consume. Okay. So we can also walk through some examples, like if you want to use a GET request, how to GET request can be placed. Okay, we will also see that with an example. Okay, in my next video I will show you practically how we can execute a select command or GET command using web APIs to retrieve data using filter, select, everything. Okay, so thank you everyone watching this video. Please stay tuned to the next video. Thank you.